almost dropped my shopping basket right there in aisle 5 because somebody had the nerve to chop the onions for me. No, seriously. I stood there staring at a plastic container full of perfectly diced onions like it was some kind of magic trick. And I said out loud, "Well, I'll be. What in the modern grocery store is this?" Back in my day, if you wanted chopped onions, you grabbed a knife, took a deep breath, and prepared to cry like you just watched the last 5 minutes of a sad movie. There was no shortcut. There was no cute little container smiling at you from the shelf. It was you, the cutting board, and your tears. Honestly, I didn't know whether to laugh or salute whoever invented that. So there I am, minding my business, pushing my cart like a responsible grown woman, and suddenly I see bags of pre-cut carrots, sliced bell peppers, diced celery, even butternut squash cubes just sitting there looking all confident like, "Go ahead, Grandma. We're ready." I picked up a container of chopped broccoli and said, "Now hold on. Since when are vegetables coming pre-prepared like they're going to a fancy party?" Not gonna lie, part of me felt a little betrayed, like I spent years perfecting my chopping skills. I can dice an onion so fine it looks like confetti, and now the grocery store is out here acting like knives. Don't even matter anymore. But then another part of me thought, well, Elvora, maybe this is a blessing. You know, back in my day, cooking dinner meant starting from scratch. You washed everything, peeled everything, chopped everything. And if you were making soup, oh honey, that was a full production. By the time the pot started boiling, you already needed a nap. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. There's something peaceful about standing in the kitchen, music playing, chopping vegetables nice and steady. It feels grounding. It feels real. But I gotta say, these pre-cut veggies, they're kinda genius. I stood there doing the math in my head. Okay, if I buy this chopped onion, that's at least 10 minutes saved. If I get the sliced peppers, that's another 5. Next thing you know, I'm calculating like I'm running a kitchen time management seminar. And let's talk about the packaging for a second. Everything looks so fresh and colorful. The carrots were bright orange, the celery crisp and green, the peppers all rainbow and cheerful. It almost felt like the vegetables were saying, "Come on, Grandma, you deserve an easy night." Back in my day, easy nights meant leftovers. That was it. If you didn't feel like cooking, you reheated yesterday's dinner and called it a day. Now, you can walk into a store, grab pre-cut vegetables, toss them in a pan, and boom, you've got a healthy meal in minutes. Honestly, that's kind of amazing. So I decided to be brave. I grabbed a container of pre-cut stir-fry vegetables. It had broccoli, carrots, snap peas, all chopped and ready. I held it up and said, "All right, let's see what you can do." When I got home, I poured those veggies straight into a pan with a little olive oil, some garlic, and a pinch of salt. And I stood there waiting, thinking, this feels too easy. Something must be missing. But you know what? It smelled just as good. It tasted just as fresh. And the best part? I didn't have to wipe tears from my eyes or scrub a cutting board for 20 minutes afterward. I sat down with my plate and said, "Well, Elvora, welcome to the future. And here's the thing, I didn't feel lazy. I didn't feel like I cheated. I felt smart. Back in my day, we did everything the long way because that's what we had, and there's beauty in that. There's pride in knowing how to do things from scratch. I'll always keep my knife skills sharp. Don't you worry about that. But I also think there's wisdom in embracing what makes life easier. You know, sometimes we hold on to old habits so tight that we forget to enjoy new conveniences. We say, that's not how we used to do it. And that's true, it's not. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. I started thinking about how many little things have changed. Self-checkout lanes, grocery delivery, pre-washed salad, pre-cut fruit. Honestly, the grocery store today feels like a science fiction movie compared to when I was younger. And instead of shaking my head and saying, these kids have it too easy, I decided to smile and say, well, good for them. Because here's what I realized. Saving time on chopping vegetables doesn't make you less hardworking. It just gives you more time for other good things. More time to sit down and actually enjoy your meal instead of rushing. more time to call a friend, more time to go for a walk, more time to rest. And I gotta say, that's a pretty sweet trade. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes I still buy whole vegetables. There's something satisfying about slicing a tomato just right or peeling carrots the old-fashioned way. It connects me to all those years in my kitchen, apron on, radio playing in the background. But other days, I look at those neat little containers and think, thank you, modern world. I appreciate you. Honestly, discovering pre-cut vegetables felt like discovering a tiny secret door in adulthood. You don't have to do everything the hard way to prove something. You can accept help, even if that help comes in a plastic container in aisle 5. And I think that's true for life too. Back in my day, we didn't always ask for shortcuts. We just powered through. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that working smarter isn't weakness, it's growth. So if you ever see me in the grocery store holding a container of diced onions and smiling like I just won a prize, mind your business. I earned this. And honestly, I'm kind of excited to see what else they come up with. Pre-mashed potatoes? Already seen it. Pre-spiralized zucchini? Wild. At this rate, I'm expecting pre-flipped pancakes next. Life keeps changing, and I'm choosing to keep laughing with it. Because whether I'm chopping vegetables the old school way or pouring them straight from a bag into a pan, the real magic isn't in how they're cut. It's in sitting down, taking that first bite, and feeling grateful. So tell me, would you grab the pre-cut veggies, or are you team chop it myself? Either way, I'm proud of you for feeding yourself and trying your best. And if this story made you smile even a little, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more modern-day surprises to discover, and I promise I'll react to every single one with love and a little bit of back in my day.